Ah, yes. Plan 9 deals with the resurrection of the dead. Long-distance electrodes shot into the pineal and pituitary glands of the recent dead.
You know, maybe you guys were right. Plan 9 is a good title.
That's Johnny Depp as Ed Wood, an energetic young film director in the 1950s who stopped at nothing to create some of the worst, most laughable pictures of all time. And this movie called Ed Wood, directed by the always inventive Tim Burton, is simply marvelous. It's one of the great movies about movie making. It's in love with filmmaking and the directing impulse. I really like this picture. I think it should be required viewing in every film school in America. And why? Because it's about a guy who loves his work despite all the roadblocks put in front of him. Ed Wood is presented here as a cheerful, decent, slightly weird optimist. I love this guy. Here he is getting ready to direct one of his low-budget specials, and his fiancée, Sarah Jessica Parker, is steamed that he gave the key roles to would-be actors who gave Ed money to get the film made in the first place.
See, the usual gang of misfits and dope addicts are here.
Janet, I want you straight...
Say, who's a lug?
I want you staying away from the old Willow's place.
Why, that's Tony McCoy. He will be portraying Lieutenant Dick Craig.
Really? How much money did he put up?
None. But his dad gave me 50 grand.
I want you staying.
Wood Production's the mark of quality.
One of the strangest things about Ed Wood, he liked to dress in women's clothing. He played a cross-dresser in his first feature film, the cult classic Glen or Glenda.
And cut! Print that. Let's move on.
Don't you want a second take for protection?
What's to protect? It was perfect. Come on.
Ed Wood accepted the first take almost every time, always saying, it's perfect. He didn't have time or money to waste, and I also think he just loved making any shot.
Let's move on.
Don't you want to do another take, Ed? Looks like Big Baldy had a little trouble getting through the door.
No, it's fine. It's real. You know, in actuality, Lobo would have to struggle with that problem every day.
One of the best parts of the movie is the real-life friendship that developed between young Ed and veteran horror star Bela Lugosi, who late in his life was a drug addict rescued by Ed's undying admiration. Martin Landau is dead-on brilliant as Lugosi.
Mr. Lugosi, why are you buying a car?
I'm planning on dying soon.
No.
Yes, I'm embarking on another bus and truck tour of Dracula. 12 cities in 10 days, if that's conceivable.
Do you know that I saw you perform Dracula in Poughkeepsie in 1938?
Ed is so passionate about making movies, he'll do anything to raise funds, anything, even get his goofy troupe of misfit actors to undergo a group baptism so that some wealthy Baptists will finance Ed's science fiction opus, Plan 9 from Outer Space. Bill Murray is one of the troupe.
How do you do it? How do you get all your friends to get baptized just so you can make a monster movie?
It's not a monster movie. It's a supernatural thriller.
And wait till you see the loving recreation of Plan 9. Ed Wood is filmed in gorgeous black and white that is a tribute to the 50s and to the black and white movies of Ed Wood.
Mr. Wood, do you know anything about the art of film production?
Well, I like to think so.
That cardboard headstone tipped over. This graveyard is obviously phony.
Nobody will ever notice that. Filmmaking is not about the tiny details. It's about the big picture.
This film is just beautiful to look at, photographed by Stefan Zapsky. Ed Wood's movies were so bad they had to be made by a man who loved his work. They were innocent fun, and this movie called Ed Wood is a tribute to creative passion and also to friendship. I loved every single bit of it, and I hope that it will inspire people interested in making films to follow their dreams and not just view movie making as a way to make money. Congratulations all the way around on this picture. It's one of the year's very best.
Well, you know, Gene, I share your delight, and I also enjoyed every moment of this movie. You know, one of the key things in the movie, I think, is the way that Johnny Depp finds the right tone for the performance. Because when I heard about this project involving this notorious cross-dresser, Ed Wood, who made these terrible films, I thought it was going to be some kind of a smarmy put-down. But actually, I didn't take into account Tim Burton, who I've met a couple times. He has a very sweet, optimistic, positive personality, and a lot of that is reflected in Johnny Depp's performance as Ed Wood. I mean, he's such a positive guy.
Yes.
You can't put him down. At one point, somebody says to him, "Are you a homosexual?" And he says, "No, I'm a cross-dresser." Yeah. He's just so happy to share whatever it is with whoever wants to talk to him.
A couple of stories. Once when I started as a film critic, somebody said to me, you know, there's this old story about this producer who would applaud at the end of every movie.
Yes.
Because he knew how hard it was to get any movie made.
Yes.
That's the spirit of this picture. And the other thing is, I once had George Lucas tell me, he said, you know, you can divide the directors of the world into those who like people and those who don't. It's an interesting way to think about movies. Tim Burton loves people, and he loves this character.
He loves people. He also loves monsters from outer space.